what we are doing today is a Shruti. But that doesn't mean you don't remember it or you don't have to study it. That's further those who want to do it, but there are many who don't even do that. They just know it, they recite it properly, and they know the value of it, and that's it. Okay, so this comes under Shruti. And so now you know why the one value of it is the magic of the vibrations, the sound vibrations. Now already I told you where it came into existence in that greater area that included India, Afghanistan, Persia, so more to the west. How was it developed? Always associated with fire. Always associated with fire. So in those days, they didn't have houses of worship. No houses of worship. It was open, in the form of sacrificial altars, fire altars. And so they sat, when I say this, I mean the rishis or the sages, they sat there and they used this particular altar. All rules how to make. Origins of geometry is from India. It's called the Shulba Shastra, and it started with fire altars. Geometry started with fire altars, and I'm not making it up. It's a math teacher in LA who told me that, and then I went and looked it up. So it was constructed, and they sat there, and they had made a relationship with the divine through the fire. So no houses of worship. That's what they used to do, and all of this has come out of that. All of this, the Vedic, what I call the Vedas, there are 4 of them. I'm not going to give you names, but there are 4 of them. They all came into existence out of this. And there is, within the 4, there's even each one, there's a development of thought there. I'm taking the very first part is where all of these come. And I'm particularly fond of the first part because even the concept of a soul is not there. Even the concept of a soul is not there. Everything is so together. So, and olden days they used to say, scholars said, oh, these are great hymns. Until a couple of people discovered, hey, they're not hymns. It's the most uncluttered mind that came up with all of this. So we almost have to take our glasses off in order to understand what they were talking about. And I'll tell you also how that happened. So you already know there was no houses of worship or anything like that. So now how come they came up with all of these? It's like, you have your television and stuff. You have to be able to transmit, right? In order to transmit, the receptors are important, right? So they were perfect receptors for the truth. And the truth exists outside already. It's nothing we're making up. We just have to be good receptors to be able to transmit the truth. They were like that. They were so integrated. So the technical term is the greater space connects with the inner space. Inner space is their mind. And the greater space is where the truth is. And the mind is a miniature of the outer space. So, and since they fine-tuned themselves, their sense organs and everything, they were able to receive it. So, what came out of their mouth was spontaneous. Nothing deliberate. There's an order, yes. But the later ones, the smritis and all I'm talking about, they were all deliberately planned and done. But this was not deliberate. The order here is a spontaneous thing, which is amazing. It's just amazing how they did that. And that's why it's not restricted to any country or any culture, no restrictions. There's no mythology. There is no birth of the divine. There is no lineage of the divine. Nothing like that. So it's very free that way. And I think more and more it's applicable now when we have been questioning so much about religion and stuff like that. So, now for us to understand what's being said, we have to understand there's a phenomenon called parallel truths. If we can understand parallel truths which comes through their words, then it's easy. Before I go into that, I want to take this picture off. What I've written here will be, again, I'll talk a little bit more. You see, this is external, right? But a similar thing happens inside of us. This is our mind, which is the altar. And this is the divine. And the fire is the divine will, the will power that we have. And what do we feed it? The fuel is our thoughts. Altar, the mind. Fuel is our thoughts. And the result, well, depends on what you put there. So they knew that. They knew that what they're doing external reflects internal too. And that's the great thing about ritual, which we are lost now. We do rituals but don't understand that how it connects with us. And we are losing a lot of rituals, which is sad. Because that's something rituals can have, they have a magic to them. But I see that's coming back though, little by little. So they realized that. So I have here one that, it's here, and I told you it's very complicated, some of those rituals. This is from my home state. And a professor from Berkeley went there and he found these group of people who have been continuing this ceremony from Lord knows when. His name is Fritz Stahl and he's written a book called Agni. And he said this, what did he say? He says, oh, glasses needed, so. It's the oldest surviving codified ritual he found in Kerala. Oldest surviving codified ritual of the fire offering. So it's a beautiful book with illustrations and everything. I just saw it on the net. And and we'll see the video of part of it, you know. So it's still happening, which is nice to know. It's happening. I'll take this off. You okay with so far? Mm-hmm. Alright, here we go. Vedas are 4. Listen to something to listen to. Now, if you don't remember this, it's fine, okay? But I'm just giving it to you for those who want to know. And if you say, oh, should I remember it? You don't have to, you're fine. It's divided into portions, and they're called suktas. This whole thing, like today I said the Sri Sukta. And each sukta has couplets, and they're called rings. RKS, okay? So, just technical. Now, every sukta has a sage who conceived of it, through whom this inspiration came. So we know even today, this particular one has 3 sages who came up with this, okay? So there's a sage who conceived of it, one or more, and they have a concept of a divinity on which this has been composed. So Shri will later on figure out a proper English word. They may not be one, but we'll get a couple of words together and say, okay, this is what Shri is. So the divinity associated with what we are doing today is called Shri. Okay? We have done, with others who have done night, the divinity of night, the divinity of the sun, divinity of the cosmic inflictor. So all kinds, storm, sorrow, bringing the mind back. Somebody who's lost his mind, bringing the mind back. That's the divinity. The river, which is not just the river, divinity of the river. There's a lot more to it, okay? One of the most beautiful ones are on the river, so. And it's not one, there are several of them very often, like the river, so many have done. Okay, so far so good. There's a meter associated with it. There's a meter associated with that. And definite meter. So this particular one I recited had 3 or 4 different meters, okay? And then notes, they tell you from the solfa notes, it's generally 3 out of the, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la type of notes. It's generally only 3 notes. So all that is it's fixed in that sense. How they came up with it, I don't know. Now why is that important? Because the sound vibrations create. That's why, it's okay if you recite Sri Suktam, but it's even better if you listen to somebody who recites it the way it should. So those sound vibrations affect the internal and the external. See, when they composed anything, they already have the threads that connect the individual to the universe, right? So when whatever they have come up with, you don't even have to think twice. It is automatic. It connects to the outside, to the universe, the sound vibrations. And it's composed in what? Not modern day Sanskrit, because Sanskrit grammar was composed way after the Vedas. Vedic Sanskrit, which is different. So not everybody is capable of deciphering this Vedic Sanskrit, because in one verse you can have, say, the river would be referred to feminine. In the next verse you'll be masculine. In another words, neutral gender. So a lot of things that's because they're spontaneous. You see? And grammar and all came later. Are you with me so far? Okay. So when I said what as a result what happens is when we try to apply it, we already know the cosmos behaves in a particular way. There is an order to the cosmos. There is an order to the universe. I also should behave in a particular order. Your own instincts will tell you that, what order you should behave. And once you do, the greater effort you make at it, and the greater the result, your center and the center of the universe will be one. It will be one. You're not going to feel the difference. Your center is going to be the same as the center of the universe. The center of creation is going to be the same. And there's a technical term for that order. It's called rhythm in Sanskrit. And the individual version of it is satya, which is often interpreted as honesty, but that's not honesty. Satya and rhythm, they become one. So, moves nicely.